guys. It has been an amazing experience. So much love. We know it's not all about us and Double Fine, but about you, the fans, and what you guys want to say and do with your money and choose to do and make things happen. If you've ever, like when you were a kid and you had your favorite TV show canceled, or you hear about your favorite band being dropped by their label for not selling enough, and you've just been like, why does a big company get to choose what music I listen to, or what movies I watch, or what TV shows I watch, or what game I get to play? Now you know that they can't do that anymore. You can choose. A lot of people thought we had an idea for a game or a game all designed, ready to go. And they're like, of course, they're not idiots. They're gonna have something ready to go. And I was like, no, because I wanted to do all this. Like, we're gonna document it. We're gonna start with when the cameras are rolling. We're gonna document the whole thing. And so I didn't have an idea. And I was a little scared, except for, I think it's just because now they've been, doing this for a long time. You have a certain amount of faith that you will sit down and ideas will come, because they come if you just put enough time sitting down with a notebook writing. Something will happen. And this is like the first entry in the notebook is dated 3/15, which I think is the day after it closed, right? This morning I came in and this is like the first time I've had a day after the Kickstarter ended. So I thought I should actually get to work on this game that we're working on. So the first thing I do when I'm working on a game is I start writing. These are all my notebooks. I just started a new notebook and it's already covered with stickers. And I start writing. And I remember I sat down and the first page is me thinking about a code name for the game. Then I'm talking about some girls in the 6th grade for some reason. And then I'm complaining about my memory problems. It's about like the process of getting ideas out of your head. So when I'm really disciplined and on it, I would come in every morning and lock myself in my office and just do free writing. And free writing is something we actually learned in junior high school, but I started doing a lot in college because it's the way of getting past that hump of like the blank page. It's very intimidating. Let me show you one. Scary. What do you put on here? Oh God, And then I'm like going over this list of old ideas, like what? Oh, then I'm talking about whether I should hire this person. But then, because like, this is where I sit down in the morning and I start writing. And I have to keep writing, and that's why ridiculous things come up. And I started this morning for the first time with Double Fine Adventure. Double Fine Adventure. I don't even want to show you what I'm writing because someone's gonna like download it and be like, I've decoded the first notes. And now I start talking about the game, and now I start thinking about, should I do this idea? I've been thinking about this idea, and I've been thinking about this idea. And then right here, you can see there's a little star and a line. Like this is where I had the idea for the game. So it took at least 3 pages.
What was that first germ of an idea that wound up in the book today?
Well, I can't tell you that, because I'm not sure if I like it or not.
I guess it's been a real long time since you made a 2D adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think you still got it? Like, are you still in touch with those skills?
I think it's interesting to think about why people like adventure games, and really what they like about them. Not just like someone who remembers Monkey Island from like, oh, when I was 12 I played Monkey Island, I'd love to go play that again. But people who are actually playing them now, and like what they actually enjoy about them.
Why is it that a game like Monkey Island or Maniac Mansion that was made 20 years ago, why is it that people still love those games? Why is it that people post hundreds of videos on YouTube of themselves playing the music from those games? What was it about those that really was so interesting and touched people like that? So is a lot of the interest that people have today in adventure games, is that more, do you think that's more nostalgia based? Because there are a lot of people who love adventure games, but do they love the nostalgia of them as opposed to the actual adventure games? You want to do something that really focuses on what made those old point and click adventure games a lot of fun, and I mean, there's just a rabid fan base for those things, as we obviously saw. So you really want to take from those games what made them really special. But I also don't think you just want to go make a 2D point-and-click adventure game, with a little cursor that moves around and all that, because I could never go back and just design Monkey Island again, because I'm a different person today, than I was back then. The world has changed. Gamers have changed, we've changed. And so I think there's a lot that has to evolve in them. And I don't know exactly what those are off the top of my head, but they do need to evolve, but they need to evolve in such a way that they don't lose the spirit of them and they don't lose what made them so interesting to people.
Like when we're talking about adventure games, people's memories of playing adventure games when they were kids, so many of them were like, that's the only thing I had to do that summer. I go stuck at my grandma's house for the summer, and I played Dead Tentacle every day. Like, people have so many options now for entertainment. It's hard. It's going to be really hard to make sure that there's something really sticky about the game that makes them want to come back. I think a lot of that is atmosphere for me. Like when you feel haunted by a game sometimes. Like you're just at your work or you're at school and you think about the music and you think about the world and you're like, that world feels so real that you want to go back there. That's the goal, and I think that's the way you keep people playing an adventure game. Man, I better be able to still. I love looking at this font. It just makes me so happy. Takes me back. We should do one of these games. Point-and-click adventures are awesome. I repeat a lot of the kind of recap sometimes, like where I am so far, like what I have. Activities in one story affect the other. Customizing. This is a drawing that I hope will become the title of the box, cover of the box. Here's storyboards for that same intro. I started writing some. No, I'm not going to read you those names yet. And there's a certain point you just kind of instinctively know, okay, now I need to talk to somebody. Because you kind of feel like, this is as far as I can go right now with what's in my head. Yeah. So I was thinking about this game. Mm-hmm. And I had an idea. Well, the first thing I did, well, forget it. No, let me start over. Okay, so.
Would you like to read your notes?
Then you talk to somebody who you feel, okay, you're kind of taking a risk because you're exposing all your ideas to somebody for the first time and they might laugh at you. But my idea for the story idea for this game is about two stories kind of happening side by side about a boy and a girl. And they're in totally different worlds and at different places. And
different realities or just different places?
Well, that's a good question. That's an interesting question.
I'm jumping ahead.
We don't know. Mostly I just get this relief that I told someone about the game and they didn't tell me it was stupid. But maybe they'll be like, they'll get inspired and they'll say a whole bunch of other things. But then you can take back into the cave with you and like, now I have a whole bunch of stuff to chew on and like ideas to bounce around and more dots to play with. It's hard to tell your ideas to people.
Budget.
We need that. We might not need that. I think we gotta have food. Launch event. Hate to cut the launch event. That much for PAX Prime, really? Mm-hmm. We need that. We might not need that. We might not need, let's just say if we're being really bare bones on some of this stuff.
We're cutting so much stuff right now.
Determining what stuff you're cutting.
It's the things that like
Greg thought of. Everything I thought of is in, everything Greg thought of is out.
Yeah, so I was being really conservative on like trying to figure out stuff outside of just paying the members of the team that we might need to pay for, and some of that stuff might not be necessary. So it's
tight for me. I mean, it's tight for me in terms of like the number of people we have on the team. Like I wish we had more programmers. Okay, so if we did that. So if we cut out all those, some of those things, we'd have like another 100,000, which would be some programmer time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in an interesting position now because I'm running the company, and I'm running a project. So on the one hand, I'm equal to the other project leaders, and I can't really abuse my ability to like pick up resource up and put them on a different project, but I do when they're not looking. So that's fine. All for the good of the project. DFAs can start anytime, like now.
Yeah, ostensibly, we're going to take somebody off your team to put them on DFA, and you're going to be shorthanded.
Well, I mean, when you're a project leader, you have to kind of fight for your team. You have to fight for resources, and you care about the company overall, but you still know that to make your game good, you should get the best people on it.
Show you my super awesome adventure game here.
Oh my God!
Like,
I didn't
it's
know you could draw.
yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and so like I started with the classic data editing thing, which is walk boxes, and so like got a little walk box here.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like look how accurate.
What do we got, man?
It's pretty cool.
This is a game.
It's kind of a game. It does like already
Nice.
the
And you're even
perspectives.
walking in 3D space.
We haven't designed in the actual characters yet for the game. Tim is still writing and coming up with exactly what the world is. So we just sort of picked a character out of Winnebago sketches and put it into the game. So, and we needed to do, we just needed it to move around. So I just did some really quick animation on it. It's certainly not great animation, but just to get it to kind of move around the world.
Yeah, we're starting to get like a team on the game.
Tonight is a very special night because we are going to retrace the history of Double Fine through the code names of our projects, which are mostly taken from Chinatown dive bars.
Why don't you tell us about what happened last night?
You mean between me and, last night. So we went on a quest last night to find a code name for the project. It's fun. I mean, we used to, like in the very beginning of the company, when we were only like, the whole company was like 12 people, we'd go out a lot together and go bar crawling together, and we haven't really done that a lot lately, but it's fun to get back out there again with the team.
I think you're greatly overestimating my alcohol tolerance.
All I heard is you were great. It was like a team kickoff event. Lipo is our very first codename of our very first project. This is the codename for Psychonauts.
Never heard of it. What's that?
Let's go. Buddha is the codename for Brutal Legends. Hi, I'm Tim. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Peace again.
That's a weird name. Easy 5 is a codename for Happy Action Theater. Grasslands was our codename for Psychonauts 2. Who knows if that'll happen? If that happens, we'll call it Grasslands. Bow Bow was a codename for Brutal Legend 2. We started on that. There's some documents on Bow Bow. Vesuvio was Once Upon a Monster. Empress is short for Empress of China. Empress was the sequel to Once Upon a Monster, or Twice Upon a Monster, it probably would have been called, but that got canceled. But you still go there. It's important to go there and remember, pour out a drink for the canceled projects.
That's the losing side.
Anyone else coming in from out of town? Okay. We are doing an art jam for Reds. Reds is the code name for our Double Fine adventure. This last week we did one of my favorite things, which was the art jam, which got all our artists from across the country here in this room, sitting around one table, just drawing and talking and pitching ideas back and forth. And we had Peter Chan, who has been working with me since Monkey Island 2. We have Scott Campbell, who's here since the beginning of Double Fine. And Nathan Bagel Stapley, whose art is going to be featured front and center in the Double Fine adventure, and who has also been here since the beginning of from Double Fine. It's good to see you guys. I haven't seen a lot of you in the office for a while, so it's awesome to have you here. People who don't know who these guys are, ask somebody.
I'm excited. It's like a total reunion. The last time we were all together was beginning of Brutal Legend. Peter's been on, I think, every one of his projects.
Here that hired me, right here.
I hired more people in this industry than you know.
Tim and everyone was going, we would like you to come back and help us out on this. And that was the friendliest you've seen around right there, fellas. To collaborate with these guys, Ron and Tim again, is, you know, it's like the good old days, you know, so I didn't want to pass that up.
Art is obviously really critical to graphic adventures as part of the defining thing of like, let's have an adventure game, but let's add not just text to it. Let's actually show the world, and seeing beautiful worlds laid out in front of you that inspire your imagination, your desire to explore them is such an important thing, because they don't have, you know, an RPG's progression drive, you know, or an addictive hook like collectibles or something like that. Usually it's just the thing that pulls you forward and keeps you going is the extent to which we've ignited your desire to explore.
She starts exploring when she reaches like pathways which are made of twigs, right? So there are some paths. Once she's on it, she won't sink anymore. So that automatically guides her through.
Textural.
Now, awesome.
When he wasn't looking, or when they needed to operate the ship, they sort of like fold back, and they have all these like AM clock radio innards, and little arms come out, and they start doing stuff, and he turns around, and they're like back as a little bunny.
So, like, these people would be cruising around on, like, combs and brushes, dude, and they'd be combing the land, like, farming. So it'd be, like, farming style, but they'd be farming the trees and shit.
Are they pulling out mice to
It'd
eat
just be
or
really
something,
pretty.
or what are they?
That's the thing. They could be farming and harvesting all the bugs and shit, and then they could put it in their little harvester, but also making really cool shapes from the stuff that they've
Nice.
created.
I like that.
You know?
I have a lot of faith in Tim, and all we have to do is plant a few seeds, and he'll start running with it, right?
Yeah, planting seeds. Yeah, you don't know what seeds will turn into rad stuff, man. So it's just a list of possible room ideas and experiences, you know? Just kind of, like, some of them are just words. Maybe make us think about some interesting things, you know? Like wild jungle, it's fun for people. A sunny beach, candy room, garden zone for, like, the tender side of boys. Maybe those seeds will grow into amazing things, and then we'll realize that those amazing things are actually terrible. So we'll just cover them up with a sheet and then move on to the next thing. Who knows? You know, fireball, soccer. Playing with fireballs are really fun probably for boys. Laser zone. Anything can be made of lasers, so you can eat sandwiches of lasers. You could just shoot them, ride them, dodge them, you know. I'll just do drawings and try to get people pumped. That'll be my role. So this is like just, it could be waterfalls and different things of goop, and it could be falling down, or this could be barf, you know? And it could be like animal, or, you know, creatures made of barf kind of unhappy or happy, you know, like, and they could be barfing new creatures. It could just be barf zone. You know what I mean?
Was there a period in your life where you had barf?
People love barf, dude.
Oh, no, they don't.
At this point, everything is disposable and stuff, so. That's the thing about creative process is, like, you want to go down every road fully to realize that road is wrong. You can't just go down a little bit and be like, oh. You got to really test that water fully before you can realize that's a terrible road. And then you go down the next road.
These things all still work, but maybe this becomes his story. The monster lands move over here. Maybe that moves over there.
What I still am not clear on is, and I don't know if you are, is switching back and forth between these stories and how we're going to handle that.
Yeah. I've been putting that off.
Yeah. So let's start thinking about it. So I'm just wondering then, like, if I'm here, and I jump back to this, then what's the world like? Like, why can't I do this, and what happens that makes me so I can do this?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I've been a little behind. It's frustrating because when the team is waiting for you, that's always frustrating. So it's always been that way. Like having an absolutely terrifying deadline is the only thing that makes me get it done. There's just so many other things going on at the company right now that you know, the cave is getting to this point where it needs, you know, it has a dialogue deadline of its own, you know, and do I help with that or do I work on this game. Suck it. So the game, and that corkboard is kind of up to date. I could add some as we talk, but we're doing a point-and-click graphic adventure. I don't know if you heard that.
Very cool. Yeah.
So it doesn't have a high concept in terms of like a heavy metal fantasy world or the Day of the Dead.
Right.
It's really like a new world that we're making up based
I see that.
on Nathan Stapley's art. You know, just having that cool look and having it be about themes that are different maybe than.
Now, yeah, I have a couple questions.
There'll be no questions during this meeting. Is Peter McConnell excited to be on the project? Yes, me, if he's excited. I think so. We've always enjoyed working together. You know, he's worked on everything I've done since Day of the Tentacle. Monkey 2.
He's like your Danny Elfman.
What?
He's like your Danny Elfman.
He's like my Danny Elfman. He can do Danny Elfman if you ask him to.
Yeah, well, I think there is going to have to be a signature piece for sure, and that is, or two halves of a signature piece because you got these two worlds.
Yeah, that too.
And
It'll be interesting to see how we can handle that too. Like if there's themes that persist in both their worlds, or if you have funny little things to do to connect their two.
I think that Pete's gonna be able to knock that out pretty easily.
Yeah.
I think it's more of the initial. But then it's the same thing with Tim. You know that you go crazy for 2 days, and then on the third day you just kind of come up with something. You know that's how creative magic happens. I mean, I think it's almost like you have to be patient with yourself and not panic.
Yeah, well, that backer money don't last forever.
That's the truth. Yeah, the last 4 months we've spent in pre-production mode, and it's been kind of an exploratory phase of trying to figure out what the game is, and both in terms of design, but also in how we're going to actually make that happen. But yeah, everyone's kind of had their own separate little tasks, and those are all starting to converge now. So where now the real work is beginning.